Hi, good morning, and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for the exciting live webinar. Find out how Xpede is disrupting the last mile delivery. I'm Fane, and I will be your moderator today. Every single day, millions of small businesses get left behind. They're the 99% of the market, forced to choose between slow and expensive. But what if logistics could be as simple as an idea? What if your city could work for you? Welcome to the Xpede story. In just 45 minutes, you'll hear directly from the brilliant minds behind this venture: Dave Vo, founder and CEO, and Martin Compoc, co founder and CTO. They'll walk you through the investor pitch deck, the bold strategy behind the company, and how Expeed is reimagining last mile delivery for small businesses and communities across the country. At the end of the webinar, we will have a 10 to 15 minutes for Q&A. So please send all your questions in the chat box as I will be reading them off then. And before we begin, a quick disclaimer. We will not be discussing specific financial projections and related financial information during this webinar due to SEC regulations. For detailed financials, please visit our web WeFunder campaign page, which link we will provide to you at the end of the webinar. Now, let's get started. Dave, can you please introduce yourself and brief background about yourself and what made you decide to create Xpeed?
Yes, thanks so much, Fang, and thank you everyone. Hi everyone for joining us today. My name is Dave Vo, and I'm the founder and CEO of Xpede. I've been an entrepreneur for over 25 years in various industries, and I have a good understanding of the need of fast and reliable delivery service for small businesses. However, the idea of Xpede actually didn't come from the business side, but rather on the consumer side. After attending a friend barbecue on a Sunday night, and taking Uber home, I realized that I had left my car key at his house. There was no way to get back there quickly without calling a rideshare driver to make up a round trip, so which was time-consuming and costly. This was around the latter part of COVID in the middle of 2021, and not being able to find such service available at that time, that moment sparked a big idea. What if there was a smarter, a faster way to deliver not just food, but everyday essentials? That's where Xpede began. Not with tech for tech's sake, but with a commission to empower small businesses, support drivers, and serve our communities with speed, fairness, and convenience. From there, the idea blossomed to where it is today. Over to you, Martin.
Hey everyone, I'm Martin, joined Dave a couple of years ago. It's really exciting because as you'll find out, we're not just breaking into and correcting and fixing the broken courier industry, but there's a couple of cool tricks up our sleeves, really multiplying and building on the assets and the traction we've got so far. But great to meet everyone. Hopefully you get to dive in deeper as a follow-up to this call. Thanks, Dave. Back over to you, Thane.
Thank you so much, Dave and Martin. And now that you've set the stage, let's dive into what makes Xpede truly different, starting with the problem they're solving. Dave, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Frank. The last mile delivery space is broken, it's fragmented, and there's really no one trusted name that provides on-demand delivery service to small businesses and local consumer at an affordable rate. It's also very cumbersome, right? Because a user is forced to do research, compare services, compare prices, get email-based quotes, and fight through the lack of transparency. Then we have the issue of being expensive, where the users are paying high service fees for simple delivery tasks. All of it this time comes at a time where consumer expectations are changing with the trend when it comes to wanting fast delivery service. Big businesses are partnering up with each other to provide such fast service to their customer, while small businesses, which represent 99% of the US market, are squeezed out. They're forced to choose between overpriced third-party services or inefficient, costly in-house delivery. On the other hand, local consumers have few options for urgent personal deliveries. Hence, there's just a lack of a transparent, digital platform for instant delivery for important everyday items for small businesses and consumers. Big tech platforms serve the big guys. Well, at Xpede, we're changing that. We're building a delivery for the rest of us.
That's a great insight. Now, let's talk about the market size. As I heard, it's a huge market. Isn't that correct, Dave?
Yes, you're absolutely right, Fang. The TAM, which is the total addressable market for the courier industry, is a whopping $184 billion industry, with the global same-day delivery market projected to surpass 82.9 billion by 2033. In the US alone, we're looking at a $24.8 billion market by 2029. As mentioned earlier, consumer expectations are changing quickly internationally as quick commerce and e-commerce companies like Amazon are reshaping expectations. In places like India, startups like Zepto and Swiggy deliver items under 10 minutes. And timing matters, right? We're entering a market at a moment when large platforms are focused on enterprise accounts, leaving small businesses behind. Xpede is perfectly positioned to ride this wave of change, meeting rising demand while delivering massive cost savings for small businesses. And remember, when the economy is uncertain, as it is now, innovation rises. Just as Uber emerged from the 2008 recession, we believe Xpede is poised to grow from today's economic pressure. Tariffs and supply chain challenges aren't roadblocks. They're a signal that the system needs something better, more affordable, right? And Xpede is that better and that more affordable.
That's fascinating. Now, let's take a look at the competition and where Expeed stands.
Sure thing, Fang. Like most industry, we have competitions, mostly when the courier and last mile delivery industry have been around for centuries. And yes, there are some big players in this space. But here's what set Expedia apart. While others chase scale and enterprise contracts, we're laser focused on serving small businesses, a market that makes up 99% of the US economy, but is constantly overlooked by giants. These businesses don't need bloated system or search price services. They need speed. They need affordability. They need reliability. That's exactly what Speed delivers. When you compare price, performance, and personalization, Xpede wins. We consistently beat competitors on delivery rates, and our driver-centric approach keeps quality high and costs low. This isn't just about being cheaper, or it's about being smarter, being more focused, and built for the real needs of small business America, mostly during this uncertain time. From a tech standpoint, we're leading with innovation. Our current and upcoming AI-powered platform outpaces most traditional courier systems, especially how we optimize routes and automate user preferences, and even incorporate voice-activated ordering. That's the game changer. Our upcoming voice-first AI doesn't just save time, it reduces friction for users and opens doors to accessibility. No other delivery platform is offering this level of intuitive, predictive interface. The voice-activated ordering is where your app remembers your drop-off and pickup history. Just say, send this to John's office, and with a few questions from the AI, Xpede take care of the rest. Imagine a delivery app that learns your behavior and execute orders hands-free. This is the future of logistics, and Xpede is leading the way. That's our edge, and it's why we're already gaining ground in a market ready for disruption.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I can't wait. Let's get into the solution and how Expeed is fixing the broken system.
Sure, Frank. At Xpede, we started with a simple, powerful idea to make fast, reliable delivery accessible to everyone. Not just big corporations with healthy budgets, but local businesses, freelancers, and everyday individuals. We saw small businesses struggling with high delivery fees and rigid, outdated courier services that couldn't meet their needs. Xpede was born out of a desire to level the playing field, to provide an affordable and convenient same-day delivery that empowers local entrepreneurs and individuals to thrive. We're revolutionizing an industry that has been around for centuries by creating a platform that is modern, technological, and affordable to all. We want to build a trusted brand, right, with a familiar UX that everyone is familiar with, like that of ride sharing or food delivery platforms. Our platform is app and web-based, which means that you can download our app to place delivery orders anywhere that you go, even on vacation, or visit our website to do the same. Currently, we're active across all 6 counties in Southern California, serving a population of 43 million people. With nearly 1,000 well-vetted quality drivers, we're providing businesses and local community, right, with reliability, and trust that they deserve.
Okay, well, like me, most of people are interested of how Xpede platform look.
Yes, let's talk about what Xpede platform truly, why make us truly powerful as a platform, not just from a tech standpoint, but from its usability and business impact perspective. At its core, Xpede is smart, on-demand delivery platform built for today real-world users, especially small businesses who need flexibility, who need speed and affordability. Our platform brings together one, real-time geo tracking, which means both senders and recipient can follow every delivery from door to door. We have scheduled or preset deliveries that gives business the flexibility to plan ahead. Our multi-stop functionality, which is perfect for business that need multiple drop-offs in one trip, such as catering businesses, local meal prep services, or even mobile notaries. Pay by recipient, a fan favorite. Lets customer set up a delivery without the need to collect payments from the recipient ahead of time. In addition, we have instant invoices, delivery confirmation codes, and seamless app UX for both iOS and Android. This isn't just like a stripped down courier app. It's a fully featured logistic engine built to empower small business with the tool that they never thought they could afford. Also, as mentioned earlier, unlike most on-demand delivery companies that are either app-based or web-based, Xpede is both, which means user can sign up, log into their account, and place delivery orders through our website as well. And the best part of this is our pricing beats 90% of on-demand delivery companies and messenger service rates in the market. We're taking everything that small business need and strip away everything that they don't. It's a powerful and it's very user-friendly. But we're not just, but we're just started at this point. We're always striving to upgrade and make our platform a better experience for the users. But then we get this question of why us, right? Why now? Why is Xpede uniquely positioned to win this crowded delivery space, right? Here's what we know. Big delivery platforms like DoorDash, Uber, and Amazon are optimizing for large-scale enterprise efficiencies, not for the main street America. That's the gap. That's the opportunity. Our right to win to build on 4 major advantages. One, we're laser focused on small businesses. We build every feature from pricing to scheduling to real-time tracking with small businesses' needs in mind. While the big guys chase national chains, Xpede is becoming the go-to logistic partner for independent retailers, service providers, and local entrepreneurs. Second, our AI-powered infrastructure. Our tech isn't just like another about automation, but it's about intelligence, from the dynamic route optimization to smart order recall and soon voice command ordering. We're building logistics that think. That's the major differentiator. Third, we have a dual revenue stream. In addition to delivery, we're launching a mobile vehicle advertising, turning our driver's car into geo-targeted data track local billboards. That opens up an entirely new ad tech revenue from a model and gives our drivers another income source, which Martin will go over in detail soon. Fourth, we have traction and timing. We've already proven demand in a market of over 43 million people across Southern California with nearly 1,000 drivers and growing user base. At the same time, macroeconomic trends, rising tariffs, inflation, supply chain disruptions are pushing business to look local. Our timing is now. So bottom line is, we're not trying to be the next DoorDash. We're building something smarter, leaner, and more aligned with the future of small business logistics. This is not a crowded race to the bottom, but this is a vertical that's ripe for intelligent, human-centered disruption, and Xpede is ready to lead that charge.
Wow, that sounds awesome. Now, we haven't heard from Martin for a bit. Let's go to our mobile ad network slide, and perhaps Martin can give us some insights about it.
Thanks, Fane. Thanks, Dave. And this is an interesting slide, and it's a little bit misleading because that's not what the ads look like. But and there's a reason for that. It's a bit of a surprise, and we're going to be piloting soon. But think of it this way: like the ad network business model we have here is really twofold. For one, ads are expensive. If you're going to run offline or digital or broadcast, it's extremely hard to get the highest level of efficiency and effectiveness. That's, the cost per your CPM versus your reach and your target. In our case, we already know where the drivers are, their routes are planned. We already know the demographics and the neighborhoods and densities they're driving through. So we have a natural sort of real estate for ad units that will be very highly cost effective for the advertiser. But as Dave mentioned, also, it's another revenue stream. So we're introducing an incredibly rewarding system for incentivizing drivers who Dave really didn't speak to, give it enough justice, but are very reliable. There's just about 900 to 1,000 drivers who are very, very professional and reliable, which, as you know, in this type of business model, you're going to make it or break it based on your drivers and your workforce. They are really partners, and Dave has done an amazing job to really foster and support this core group. Well, they're becoming the flight and program for these ads in the network, and they're rewarded appropriately. Unlike doing driving or delivery service for the other big shops, your revenue and margins are not variable. But in our case, we have a reward system based on the driver reputation, which really stems from the way that we've learned from feedback from our customers, really rewards the drivers. What I mean by that is, in some cases, the driver's tip is actually higher than the fee they get for making the delivery. So you have this really strong ecosystem of drivers. You have a very highly dense population in these metropolitan cities. And if you put the two together, it should make for a very highly effective and efficient ad platform for advertisers of all sizes. Would love to dive into that further in the Q&A if anyone wants to get into any more information about that. Over to you, Fane.
Thank you, Martin. Mobile billboard ad to beat. Now, let's move on to what types of tractions are Xpede experiencing. Dave?
Yeah, certainly, Fang. Let's talk about traction. Since we've established in early 2022, we have nearly right now almost 1,000 delivery drivers, well vetted, quality drivers, and they're located throughout Southern California, but with very minimal advertising. I mean, these are drivers that just found us. We rarely even advertise for drivers. And then, as you know, we service the entire Southern California, which is 43 million people. And currently, we have almost about 700 to 800 users. More than half of those are small corporate business users. We have over 5,000 user app downloads and about 80% of repeat customers. So which shows a proof of product, right? Love and strong market fit. So this isn't just a growth. It's showing of a momentum for the company. But what does this mean for you there out there as an investor? You're getting in at the most exciting stage. We're proving market product fit. We build traction, and now we're going to scale to the next level.
That sounds exciting. So what's the go-to market for Xpede, Dave?
Yeah, great question, Feng. Now let's dive into how Xpede go to market and how we're scaling smartly, efficiently, and staying power. Our go-to-market strategy is built on 3 high leverage prongs. The first is a community-driven sales force. We create a grassroots sales engine through our sales associate program, including many of our own drivers. These are trusted professionals in their communities, business-minded individuals who are incentivized to onboard new users, activate merchants, and promote Xpede as a reliable, affordable alternative. We strongly believe in direct marketing and building a long, prosperous rapport with the local business community, which in turn will generate word-of-mouth referrals. This model keeps customer acquisition costs low and lifetime value high because relationship will drive retention. Our second prong is that our tech power user acquisition and retention is that we're always leveraging performance marketing and referral automation to convert user at scale. But here's what makes it smarter. Businesses that complete their first delivery or offer subscription plans and bonus to incentivize them to return. And then drivers are then cross-promoted into our mobile advertising program, creating an additional income stream and boosting loyalty. And then users are then re-engaged with our geo-targeted push notification and tailored delivery perks, right? Which in turn we do is we're building a loop where one delivery unlocks the next. And our third prong here is that we're hyper-local market expansion. We're not going, like say nationwide overnight. We're going to span city by city with intentional rollouts into metro areas that mirror our success in South Cal. First, Central and Northern California. Cities like Fresno, San Jose, Sacramento, San Francisco. Once we have a good grasp of California, which is the fourth largest economy in the world, we will expand into other major cities in other states, such as Las Vegas, Phoenix, Austin, Miami, Atlanta, you name it. These are markets where small businesses are booming, but underserved by traditional delivery giants. We build each market with localized driver onboarding, sales partnership, and community engagement, ensuring that when we launch, we stick.
Okay, we're almost reaching the end. And now let's hear from Martin and what Xpede has planned in the near.
Great. Thanks, Fane. So as we hinted to a little bit, again, there's the mobile ad network. And then some of the things Dave was talking about in terms of making the UX easier to make ordering much more efficient. While you can do that with the order agent via voice, you're going to have the prompt and the confirmation that in the app you are making the order with the details you want. And those will be based on your preferences. So the convenience comes through using our order agent, but the confirmation of accuracy of the order is going to come through the UI and the app. So it won't take away any confidence from that you already have in using Xpede, but it'll just make it simpler. So that's the order agent. And then we're also going to have what we are calling Xpede Network. But because we have such a, thorough coverage over the demographic and region that we are delivering in at the moment, we know those businesses. Actually, we know a lot of the customers, and they don't necessarily know each other. So we're going to create a network, which will be sort of like an online hub for businesses within that locality, trying to stay true to our hyper local focus. It'll be an opportunity for businesses in that area to get to know each other. And when they initiate services between each other, naturally, Xpede will be there to be the delivery partner for that. And then the fifth area is a really interesting one. Because we do know the quality of drivers and we're building up this incredible relationship and workforce, they are in a sense our asset as well. They're our people. They're what make the operations as valuable as it is. We're going to extend that. So we have a reputation system whose engine in the back end will rank and refine the data around our drivers. So you can imagine if there's an increasing number of gig workers and drivers become sort of proliferated across every delivery service today, we're going to know the very best of them, and we're going to reward the very best of them. And this reputation system is going to be the dashboard for that. And that data set will be very valuable. So as an investor, you could think of this as we'll have a very focused, refined, high quality data set of professionals who are probably going to be the most prolific workforce in the next decade, if we're honest. As we know, gig force working is not a new thing, but it's only increasing. So we'll also become the data provider for a lot of that workforce. So if a driver typically wouldn't have a LinkedIn profile, already as an investor that having access to reputation that's not visible on a resume in a growing workforce like this is going to be highly valuable. So that's the other pillar in the back end that we're leveraging as a result of having this incredible driver workforce of ours. So those are just some sneak peeks. We can share more about that later, but in the end, we're taking it, like Dave said, slow and steady. But those are the kind of the items on the horizon. Thanks, Fane.
Yeah, thank you so much, Martin. Those are definitely some exciting features that I can't wait to try out myself. Now let's move to crowdfunding campaign slide before we start our Q&A session. Dave?
Yes, thanks, Frank. For the first time, we're very excited to open the door to everybody that wants to invest and not just accredited investors, right? We launched our equity crowdfunding campaign on WeFunder, which you can check it out by scanning the QR code on the screen. Now, people think that, oh, you have to have a lot of money, right, to invest, but that's not true. Investing can be as low as just a few $100. So we hope to have your support. So if you can scan that QR code, and even if you don't invest, you can just scan that QR code just to look at what we have in mind and what our forecast is for the future. And there's just a lot of information there.
All right. So now we are opening for our live Q&A. If you haven't already, please drop your questions into the chat box. We'll get to as many as we can. Let's begin with our first question. What makes um, what makes XP different from other last mile delivery platform like DoorDash, Uber, or Postmates?
I can answer that questions. So yeah, what's distinguished us from DoorDash and those guys that's on-demand delivery service is that we're not a platform where a user come to the platform, order something from a restaurant, a grocery market, or a pharmacy, and then get it delivered. We're the link between the various small businesses, such as a law office, a real estate office, a catering business, a flower shop, print shop, you name it, where consumers that need fast and affordable delivery, we're that link between those business and consumer to link those two together to get that reliable and trusted delivery service that they need. These are the type of small business that most, if not all, of those companies like DoorDash and those guys do not serve. And in addition, what makes us really distinguished was that our rates is very consistent, right? It's not only is affordable, but we keep it very consistent. We don't have a peak or non-peak hours, whether it's weekend, weekdays, 7 a.m. or 6 p.m. Users are always going to be paying the same rates. In addition, those guys that you have mentioned, we were going to be one of the first platform on-demand delivery that's going to be implementing a voice on-demand voice activated AI system. So we have just a lot of exciting features coming up, but there's a lot of features that will distinguish us from these guys like DoorDash, Uber, and Postmates.
Thank you. So next question. How do you plan to scale nationally while maintaining low overhead and fast delivery?
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if Martin's going to answer that.
Yeah,
But
I can. Sure, that's a good question. I mean, it's never a crystal ball answer, right? Scaling is going to have to be a lever we pull when we get the right feedback, both revenue stream and market penetration and traction. And because our focus is in the highly dense, small, SMB populated areas, like SoCal is no surprise, one of the biggest, we're able to learn a lot. So we're not trying to grow unnecessarily fast. We're trying to put the relationships with the businesses in the community of that region first, and that includes the drivers, of course. The drivers are their own business. So it's really not a straightforward answer, but Dave, feel free to feel free to add context there if you'd like.
yeah, I mean, I think one important I guess aspect but between us and some of our predecessors, like example Uber, Lyft, and those guys that you've seen in the past, and some of those guys we know, but they didn't even declare profit until they IPO and recently, and even until COVID, right? Like DoorDash, right? And we learned from them is because for us, one thing that we want to do is for our support team. We really believe in having a support team offshore, where we're going to be using our offshore as a support team. That will keep the overhead low. So we are going to do is really do is not have a system where it is mismanaged and overspent. So we will maybe do is we're going to be focused, concentrate on our spending, keeping it low, and making it as economical as possible.
Thank you. And we have our next question from Rachel. Thank you. How are rising tariffs and deflation affecting your business model and positioning?
So as mentioned earlier, like for rising tariffs and inflation, it's actually in a time of uncertainty, as mentioned, is that it's actually making our business more appealing in the sense that because of our affordability and being able, because people right now, a lot of small business are very sick of using their own the logistic that they're using, either as to FedEx or and one of the message services that they're using, they're paying so much of a high price. So given with all the tariffs and uncertainty and inflation, they're looking for something different, something that is more affordable. And that's where we come in. And we bring to the industry the same reliability, the same trust, but with more affordability.
Thank you so much, Dave. Now, the next question that we have here is, what other AI capabilities are you planning to implement this year or next year?
Yeah, I mean, it seems silly to even say AI when you're going to move forward with any business, especially if it's technology related. It's so ubiquitous and a given, but it's really quite straightforward at the moment. Again, uh, the agents will have some level of automation that they provide both the order maker, order placer, which are our customers, as well as the drivers. I think one interesting one that we're developing is really an aid to the drivers, right? I mean, for the most part, when an Uber driver or another, DoorDash driver are making their route, they're not talking to each other. They're trying to fight against the best route in traffic. And if you notice when they're driving you or when they're delivering something, they really just see themselves on a map. But it's a very isolated experience, and they don't always get to deliver to places that they've been before. So we have actually incorporated an ability to give the driver tips. There is a background process that will more effectively curate advice, history, driving patterns, traffic patterns that inform the drivers in their route. So even if they're in a area that they've never been in before, they won't have to simply rely on 3 different types of navigation tools, right? You often see somebody with 2 phones up, one that has their, Waze, and another one with their Google, and another one that's, that built-in app navigation service. So rather than rolling the dice as a driver, I think your life is going to be a lot better. And that's part of how we're going to make these routes more efficient. Some drivers know better routes at better times. Others, they're new to the area, but that's key, is going to be using as much of the data we have and surfacing it, making it accessible through some of these Gen AI chat interfaces to help our overall experience, not just the customer experience, but the driver's experience, which I don't think is a huge focus by our competitors, if I'm quite honest. Another one is through predictive analytics. You traditionally have predictive analytics using models that are, trained on forecasting data, and you have to constantly accumulate that and then draw these very broad sort of clusters and patterns according to what you're looking for. But in some cases, we're experimenting with some new models that actually do time series forecasting, and they're LLM based, which is a bit new in this field, but in predictive analytics. But we are finding a lot of success with that. But it's going to help our bottom line because those are going to be cheaper to run, and we won't need to constantly update their data set to be trained on, unlike something like a supply chain forecasting model. But yeah, great question. Any other I know we're going over time, but I'd love to welcome anything else from anyone.
I think we're still
Yeah,
good in time. I think we might be able to take I think what time is it? Yeah, we still have a few minutes left. So if there's any other questions, we
Oh,
can
there's another one. Someone said, why is now the right time for Xpede to grow?
Yes. So I think we kind of mentioned this, right? It's one thing is because it's the trend. It's the right timing. It's because it's big guys like Amazon is really not even creating that trend, but also pushing that trend. And it's international trend. So, and US seems always kind of slow when it comes to technology, even though we're like the #1 in the economy, right? I can recall back in the old days where you have the FaceTime on the cell phone, right? I remember that China and Japan had it like several years, right, before finally it came to the US. So US is very kind of slow when it comes to being the trend, but that trend is coming to the US. And that's why we see things where you order from Walmart, Target, Amazon, anywhere, right? You get the speed when it comes to delivery. And that's right there kind of feed that need for the consumer, right? Consumer now wants that. They want anything quick. Because I myself, I would say, admit, I myself is kind of spoiled by Amazon and some of these guys. Because when I order something, I kind of want it the next day or that day. Because if a few days out, I'm like, oh my God, it's too long, right? So because of that trend, it is the right time for us as a company that provide that type of service to the consumer, because you know what, as consumer expectation change, they will have that demand to the small businesses. And so small business will have to keep up with that type of expectation. And we are there perfectly positioned to help small businesses. Again, but that is 99% of the market that's untapped.
That's awesome.
All right.
I'd like to add just a little bit of color to
Yeah.
that. Sorry, Fane. Also, I mean, just riding on Dave's coattails there, timing wise, I can't think of a better time when quality and reliability has been more necessary. There's simply a lot of things I'd like delivered. I just simply don't have great options where I can trust that it'll get delivered. Sometimes our lunch or dinner doesn't even get delivered reliably, and that's just a meal. Can you imagine if it's, important legal envelopes or, name any number of things that you care about. It's just a very, very sketchy space in terms of the last mile delivery. It's not very confident inspiring. It's also really good timing because, and while this is not financial information and this webinar does not include any projections or anything, as an investor, you should be interested in the cap table, which on our side is extremely clean. And there's zero debt, and we're already in market, and we are successful with building a pretty good customer base without owing anyone or any institution any money whatsoever. So it's very hard pressed. Dave and I are investors ourselves, and we're very hard pressed to find investment opportunities where you can say all of those things, where the people who you're looking at on the cap table are right here, and there aren't no sneaky, sort of sandbagging of stock or equity on behalf of our endeavors. So while again, this is not financial picture creating, that is those are the facts, and it's a very difficult time to find those types of opportunities. But great question.
All right. Thank you so much. Now we have last two questions before we wrap up. Can you elaborate on the mobile vehicle advertising model and how it will generate revenue?
I think you might be good for this one, right, Martin?
Yeah, no, sure. So I've worked in ad for about 4.5 years for Sony. Uh, don't ask me why, but building these media plans, they often come down to whether you're going to reach your target demo, which through whatever channel you're doing it on, let's say television, placement of that flight is going to be very, very expensive, and it's going to be a hit and miss. It's going to be a testing. In our case, we have a very interesting sort of TikTok-ish viral activator for our ads. So that slide you saw earlier with the lady smiling in her car and there's an ad sticking to her door, that is not what our ads are going to look like. And we all know that wouldn't make Steve Jobs proud if we introduced something that looked like that into the world. But it's meant to mislead you a bit, because we are going to show what that ad interface is that's on the car. It does incentivize drivers to keep it on their car. They will get paid based on their route and viewership, as it were. And that'll ultimately, the demographic that's viewing it, the time of the route, and how often it's being viewed is going to all going to count to the attribution of the value of that unit. So just like a normal ad, the viewership, the conversion rate is everything to the TRP, GRP for this thing. And so in order to hit the primary demographics, you have to know where they're going to be. So we're going to route ads to the cars dynamically based on the time and the place that the driver's driving. So you're talking about a hyper-focused, very targeted demographic that's going to see it, depending on the commuting hours and the time the driver's driving. But the driver is going to be incentivized to basically be on the road and keep the ad on, because the conversions and viewership will be tracked through the ad itself. So we can get into a little bit about how that's going to work, and we're going to pilot it in a few months here or sooner. But it's a good win-win, and we don't see it done. And we're not talking about putting a billboard on top of a car or wrapping a car in an ad or hoping to God the driver doesn't take the ad unit off of the car. there are incentives and tracking all there that actually make it possible to participate in Xpede and earn money if you're a driver, even if you're not delivering for us. Actually, it's suitable to be a business model in and of itself. So if you had this ad on your car, it wouldn't, when we show you what it looks like, it doesn't look unattractive. And it can actually generate revenue for people like you and I if you just have that ad on the car. And we're going to drive we're going to drive demand to it through this virality and activation we're going to do through our social channels. So it'll be an ad that you're looking for because you want to scan it. It's not going to be an ad that you cringe at when you see it on a car that flies by you. It'll be the opposite. You will have your eyes peeled for this ad because there will be deep incentives with our advertising partners, and they will be limited. So if you're one of the lucky people to see an Xpede ad on a driver's car, there will be, and you are activating and converting on it, there's a good chance you're going to have a discount you won't be able to find anywhere else.
That's great. Now we have our last question here. What is your long-term vision for Xpede? Are you targeting an acquisition, IPO, or something else?
That's a good question. I think about that is just every startup will always think about, okay, what is our exit plan, right? What do we plan to do as exit? It's always either acquisition or IPO. Currently, yes, that's something that one day we hope to have, is that we hope to be able to IPO. But currently what we concentrate on is what we're doing right now is to make our platform always better, to always serve our user better. And and just take one step at a time, one baby step at a time. And of course, one of those days when we at that point where we can IPO, and definitely that's our hope, is that yes, that is our intentions. One day we can hit to that mark. But like I say, our right now is our concentration is more into the business and providing the best service and quality of service that we can for our users.
Yep. And then on the back end side, under the hood, we're drawing the IP lines very clear between the components that make up the platform. So compositionally, in terms of the platform's architecture, the logistics engine, the reputation engine, the driver data sets, the traffic and logistics behavior data sets per region, and then of course the ad network are all things that can be either licensed to other platforms or providers, or acquired all out. So each of these pieces, if you were an investor and you had your foot in the door here, any one of those are vehicles for being exited on, or licensed out. So there's a lot of flexibility we're baking in from the design point of view, the entire platform, and that's kind of the benefit here. I don't think Dave did enough justice. Again, he's very modest, but everything is proprietary. There are no logistics services we're licensing. There's no map services we're licensing. I mean, other than the topography mapping, but there's no route services we're licensing, and authentication or authorization. All the components, they're all completely built using the very common stacks you see today, but none of them are owned by any other vendor. We're not a white label for existing vendors. This is completely owned by us.
All right, thank you so much. Now we're coming to the end of our session. Thank you all for the fantastic energy and questions that we had today. If you missed any part of this, don't worry. A full recording of this webinar will be shared via email with all registrants and also posted on our WeFunder page and Xpede's YouTube channel. Dave, Martin, before we sign off, would you like to share any final words with our audience?
Yes, thanks, Frank. Thank you again for spending your time with us. I hope that after this webinar, you have an understanding that we're passionate about building tools that matter and delivering real value to those often overlooked. We're not just building a software, we're powering small business ecosystem and transforming how communities connect. I invite you to join us in rewriting the rules of delivery. This is your chance to own a piece of the future, not just watch it happen. You're not just an investor, but a partner in changing how delivery, logistic, and local commerce thrive together. I wish everyone a wonderful rest of your day.
Be safe, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.